Two of my favorite people, their voices. Brett, the Hitman Hart, and Slick Ric Flair. We combined them together to do a show open. Tom Martino and Peter Boyles, he is the Ric Flair of Denver radio. 710 KNUS on a Saturday. We have 2 more hours, and this has been the most
lot of fun.
A really fun radio, and thank Tommy for being here. It started out a week ago when we did talk radio, talking about talk, and we had Mandy and a bunch of different people that do the job. And then this week I promised it would be the listeners talking about talk, and then it rolled into the Kennedy assassination as well. It's going to be a nice day, 59 the high, 55 Sunday, 58 on Monday. Let me do this. It makes me happy. We mentioned the toy run being, here comes the holiday season, and Larson Ski and Sport. John Marriott, Jack, everybody. The ski resorts are experiencing better snow, and we're going to get some snow this weekend. Perfect time to consider taking your skis or snowboards in for a tune, maybe getting new gear for Christmas. It's the best. Better, and again, winter snow and winter sports equipment. Head to Larson Ski and Sport, located just south of I-70 on Kipling. So you're looking to rent, buy equipment, Larson's got you covered. So they are dedicated to providing you with the best skiing experience possible. The convenience of Larson's is unbeatable. Perfect stop on your way up or down the mountain. And again, you find them, this large wooden building south of I-70 on Kipling. John, Jack, everybody that's there, Paul, trust me, John and the guys at Larson's, absolute experts at everything you need for winter sports. Now, a couple of quick things. Number one, rent. If you got kids, I don't care how old they are, rent skis, boots, and poles, because next year they ain't going to fit. If you're looking for just great gear, same thing is true. Snowboards, rent. You know why? Because next year they're not going to be big enough. See the guys do it right. Jack Larson, John's kid, is like the man. Stop in today and tell him Peter Boyle sent you. 7 days a week, Larson Ski and Sport, south of I-70 on Kipling. Get treated really, really well. 303-423-0654, 303-423-0654. This is a call for Tom. It's the one and only Mike Connors. Mike, my boy, it's Peter. You're on the show with Tommy. Good morning.
Hey, Peter. Thanks for having me. I don't think I've ever told you this, but the first person who ever looked me in the eye and said, why don't you come into the studios and be on talk radio, is sitting next to you. Mr. Tom Martino.
Yes, Mike.
And
what are you doing these days?
These days, I'm just doing some writing. For a long time, I worked in banking and that sort of thing. And, of course, after I was associated with you, I worked for Time Magazine, and I reported the Oklahoma City bombing trials.
Oh, wow.
You know, I know this guy real well.
Yeah.
Mike's a good special, guy.
Yeah. And
How long did you spend with me?
2 months. 2 months I was at your hip.
Yeah.
And we made a deal because I was in between media jobs. And I was thinking maybe I wanted to do what Tom's doing.
Yeah.
And so Tom and I cut a deal where I would work for him for free. You know, this guy's a good negotiator, don't you?
Yeah.
We called them interns, by the way.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. I was a little past that. I wasn't in college. But anyway, the deal was Tom would teach me anything I wanted to know about the consumer beat.
Yeah.
And he did. And he didn't hold back. I mean, and you even were so gracious as to take me up on your airplane and go to dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I will say about Martino, and I've met all kinds of people all over the world. I've worked with any number of people that are scientists, inventors, geniuses. Tom is without a doubt the most organized person I have ever seen.
True.
It's
true.
almost compulsive, though. It's not necessarily a good thing. I mean, I border on obsessive compulsive, I think.
We didn't have words for that. I just used to call you the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
There's a thing called show prep, and I was brought up by a guy named Bob Lee, who was my mentor, and a handful of old top 40 disc jockeys. And they would walk in to do a show, and they had all of their gags, they had all of their bits, the noise effects, the stuff they were going to do, the records they were going to back sell. And Bob said to me, for every hour you're on the air, you give them a couple hours off air.
Yeah.
Isn't that true?
You respect it.
They were the old timers.
You know,
right.
these people that don't respect it, they just try to wing it.
Walk in and sit down. Yeah. You can't do it.
It's funny. The biggest egos are the ones that do the least amount of prep and the least amount of work, and they don't last long. And the people who sound like they have the biggest egos are actually workaholics behind the scenes.
Well said.
And Tom, you can. I mean, you're razor focused on everything you do. I know it's ADHD or whatever.
Yeah.
It is.
But you get. I think you're the poster child for the guy who made it work. Because I would watch you, and in the course of the day, I mean, first of all, you put together a consumer report for Channel 4. It was usually played twice a day, so you were on set as well as preparing your report. Then you prepared for your radio show. You had Arzella working in your Arzella Dirksen, and you had all these volunteers.
We had the help center, we called it, the News 4 Help Center.
You had a guy working for you that you called Hercules.
Yeah.
Remember that guy?
Yeah. Well, I had nicknames for everyone. Did I have a nickname for you, Mike? I'm trying to think.
Well, the only nickname I've ever had, I don't know if you used it, but it was Mannix, because, the old PI show.
Yeah. I remember that. But I don't remember if I had a name for you. It was funny because we...
You go down in that thing. I always said that Vinnie Terranova's original Harley-Davidson shop, when you went in there, it looked like the bar scene from Star Wars. It was like
really cool
with outlaws, yeah. And so, but I would go down into your
studio,
and it was nuts.
Yeah,
these people on a phone and yelling.
It's professional.
No, it was. Yeah. And I went, oh, look,
No, we had people we had about 20 people, I think, altogether. I mean, we had a lot of people. And Roger Ogden thought of that. He says, we have to have a consumer help center, News 4 Help Center. And were you with me when we were across the street, or were we in the same building as Channel 4?
No, you were across the street.
Yeah, I had my own office there, my photographer, my help center. Arzella was there, and we had anytime about 10 to 15 volunteers. Yeah.
People would say to me, "Do you know Tom Martino?" And I would say, "Why?" They would call, and that, like, I went on the air at 5. And they'd call up, and this guy would say, you know where Tom Martino, the troublemaker, is?" And I go, "Yeah,
so
hang
Mike was in the really early days with me. Yeah.
Mike, we showed him.
It was fun. And see, I didn't care about radio. I could have cared less about talk radio.
Yeah.
And you were hauling me in every day, going, "Come on, you got to see talk radio."
Right.
And what you said, and I think this is really germane to this many years later for you two to be sitting here and having had such great careers.
Oh, you're kind.
Is what you told me was that you love talk radio. You saw TV.
You have to.
Difficult.
Right.
You have to.
Yep. TV was, I mean, I like TV, but I love radio. That's why I'm still doing it at 72 years old. And through my fight with cancer, I mean, I stayed on the radio. I love it so much. Yeah.
Living on the radio. I'm going to jump. Thanks. We go to David in Loveland. You're with Tom Martino, Peter Boyles on a Saturday. Thank you.
Good morning, Pete and Tom. How are you guys?
We're good.
We're doing good.
I was going to try to equate it with the Denver Post and Rocky Mountain News, how they kind of faded away. And is that the same thing that we're going to see in talk radio?
I think so. I think it's going to morph. Yeah, exactly. Actually, it is the same because they had to go online, or at least the Posted. They went online and they morphed, just like Westward did. We were talking to Patty Calhoun last week. You have to morph into the new technology. It's just never going to be the same. So that's what we're seeing. That's a good observation.
This is Peter, and I want to say this because I wrote it down. I brought it to work. Remember, radio is the the dawn of the new technology of the 19th century.
Yeah.
That's so significant given the explosion of technology. Radio happened in the late part of the 19th century. And that 19th century is the century that begins with 1 and 8. You know, historians, the 19th century is the one that begins with 1 and 8.
And we're going to see the same formatting we can see and the same kind of talent, but the delivery is changing.
Yeah.
That's really what's changing.
You know, when...
And
go ahead, I'm sorry.
like the name Joanne Ostro, you know, when you had
sure.
columns in the...
Right.
And
Dusty
you would refer
Saunders.
to those people...
Yeah.
You would refer to them on your radio show, and you would actually read it, and they would talk about you guys.
Right. They were critics, they called them, and they did a good job.
They
And,
had their own show.
You know, I remember, though, one time, the Denver Post, we were at a seminar, and some guy, he was the editor, and I forget who he was, but he was an arrogant SOB. And I said to him, you know what? He was laughing about radio and stuff.
I think I know who you mean.
And I said to him, you know what? I'm going to be here long after
And you
the
are.
Denver Post
And you were.
goes. I mean, or was the Rocky or something? But I'm telling you that newspapers, they took the biggest hit. Newspapers. I mean, were you going to buy an ad in the Denver Post? I mean, you know, what are you buying?
I tell a story that when I was working at K-How doing upstairs, and you came on afterward, and we had I can't remember his name, but he was an intern, but he was from the J School in Columbia, which
Missouri. Missouri. I had a lot of people from there.
And he came in. It's a true story, and he came in at I made him come in early. He came in. We started at 5. He walked in at 4, and he had, I don't know, the Rocky, the Christian Science Monitor,
Right,
USA Today,
all the
Journal,
newspapers.
and he dropped them all, boom, on the file cabinet, and he said, "Hey, boss, yesterday's news just got here."
Yeah.
That's a true story, and I went,
Yeah.
"Whoa, this kid's telling me something."
That's right. That's right.
And so,
And can I say one last thing?
of course,
As far as Thury Smith, when he was on KDKO, do you know if he was committed to that station, or was he ever?
I knew Theory. I worked with Theory. I knew T well.
Was he ever offered like a bigger gig? I mean,
No,
on a bigger station.
First of all, T's African American, as people know.
Yes.
And he was with Daddy-O. We had Brother Jeff on last week. We talked about Daddy. T had he had the noon gig at BZ, and he had a lot of constraints on him because physical constraints.
Yes.
But his mind never went on him. Theory was straight up all the way to the end. That was a tough funeral. But you know, he was, again, you know, his daughter's an attorney. Did you know that?
Yes, I remember him saying that when she graduated from DU. Is that?
No, she went to Georgetown Law, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Oh, he went to DU, I think.
Yeah, he did. Thank you for a good call.
Okay. No,
Thanks.
thank you very much.
You're welcome. Joe in Arvada. Joe, you're on a radio show. It is a Saturday morning. Martino and Boyles together again.
Good morning, Peter and Tom.
Hey.
I don't think I've ever got the chance to talk to Tom, but I did listen. I especially loved the Troubleshooter.
Thank you.
That was an awesome show. I had a question for you, Peter. I wanted to give you kudos for being so well read, but I wanted to see if you wanted to start off with some nonfiction.
Start off what?
Well, I was just a joke.
No, I get it. I get it.
Okay.
I mean, it does. Some of the stuff he reads, it reads like fiction. You can't make it up, as they say. You can't make this stuff up.
Well, but I was just kidding, but I did want to ask, have you read Eric Trump's book?
No.
Would you like to?
You know what? I'm so stacked up, and I don't mean to play down Eric Trump. I don't like the kinds of things that people say, well, you have to read because she's in the news, Marjorie Taylor Greene's book. I'm turned off by stuff like that.
Right.
I want to go, I go off onto my read strange
And how much
people.
of that book did Eric write? I mean, truly.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it matters. It isn't like I tell you what I am doing, Joe, and it's really interesting. The excerpts, because you can get excerpts on Kamala Harris's book, and it's bizarre. It's called there's a title to the book, but the part of it that strikes me is that this is how screwed the Democrats are. She's at home making, I think she said, waffles and strawberries or pancakes and strawberries with her grandchildren. And the phone rings, and it's Joe Biden. And Joe Biden says, I'm not running. I thought, you got to be a little bit more.
Really?
She swears that's how she was told that he wasn't going to make the run. There was no humps, no bumps, no buttons, no nothing. I quit. She got the IQ match. So I thought, how bizarre. Short of that, I'm not real drawn to whatever Kamala Harris thinks or believes. But
no.
Well, the reason I suggest you to read it, I know you probably won't take my suggestion, but because I think, if I said Bob Woodward wrote it, you'd already be reading it.
Well, that's not true, but what would the book be about? Because I don't know.
Well, the point is that his book really shows, I believe, the truth of what transpired in his family over the last 10 years. And so I think that, honestly, if you're going to report on politics, you really should get a handle on what actually happened instead of the fiction that Bob Woodward wrote.
Well, which book of Woodward's was fiction?
Rage, for example.
I didn't read that.
I mean, well, the point is that all of these Democrats that write about Donald Trump, honestly,
what were you going to say about him? What about him?
Well, my point is that, okay, you're going to get a sample from them, but if you take that as gospel,
I get it. Yeah.
Really, you need to get over into the right side as well.
Let me give you an example of something that's important, and actually, I don't find any of that stuff important. We were mentioning the atomic bomb, and to be good at something, or how about George Custer at Little Bighorn? I was raised, my dad took me to a bar called Henderson's, and they had that diorama, I think it's called, of Custer dying at Little Bighorn. He's got buckskins on and long blonde hair, and I think he's got Colt Navies or whatever. I don't know much about guns, but he's on the hill and he's shooting. Well, that didn't happen. It didn't happen. And, we read and we watched Errol Flynn. They died with their boots on. And we thought George Custer was like this hero. And there's all these wonderful things about George Custer. Well, Joe, I'll put it to you. Do you think that George Custer was a hero or that he was? No, see,
no, of course not.
Because you learn. You read around an event. I had actually one of my friends is listening right now. They took me. I'd never been to Little Bighorn. They took me to see it. It's because I'm drawn to it. It's a turn in American history. And there I am standing there where George Custer died. And now you understand what really has happened. That's, to me, is like reading stuff and learning. I got to jump. Joe, we'll come back. Martino and Boyles together again.
Your 710 KNUS forecast this Saturday, sunny skies, highs around 60. A few clouds tonight, lows down to 35. Cloudy for Sunday with a 40% chance for afternoon and evening showers. Highs in the low 50s, overnight lows down to 35. Monday, sunny, highs in the upper 50s. Weather brought to you by L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be
Paycheck. Known as John Austin Paycheck. Known as Johnny Paycheck.
Yeah.
Bob Lee and I emceed this guy.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he does. There it is. 710 KNUS, and I get to say almost good afternoon. Jeez. Remember this tune? You remember Johnny Paycheck?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Of course.
It is a Saturday morning, almost afternoon, 710 KNUS. See if you can find a song by Johnny Paycheck entitled, can you hear me? I Just Love Robbin' Banks. It's a Johnny Paycheck song, I Just Love Robbin' Banks. It is 710 KNUS. We are Denver's talk station on a Saturday morning, November the 22nd, Martino and Boyles, and it's been so much fun talking about talk and talking about, and again, the Kennedy assassination. I'll tell you why this song, I Just Love Robbin' Banks. Bob Lee and I, on a St. Patrick's Day, took the radio show into the federal penitentiary over on Kipling. I'm not making this up. And I met this bank robber.
No fun.
And I ended up sending books to him. I met two people in there. One guy was one of the first computer criminals, and he was Australian. And his father was like the Australian ambassador to the U.S. or something, but he had done a wire transfer. He stole money. Sounds like somebody else we know.
Yeah.
But he stole money, and he was ugly as me and you, but he had this real hot girlfriend, and she would not come down. He was in Hong Kong, and she said, no, you got to come to the U.S., and she had rolled on him. And when he got off the plane in LAX, the feds had him. So he had stolen, significant money. And he was sitting in there, and he said, I got to do 3 years. I forget what he had to do. He said, but where can I earn $12 million in 3 years?
Oh, man.
No, it's a true story. And I said, he said, I'm just going to wait it out.
They didn't seize his assets?
They didn't get him. His money was in
another country.
Another country. They couldn't get him. And so when I'm in there, and this other fellow was a bank robber, and I was just drawn to that, and because Johnny Paycheck had that song. Did you find it? You're looking at me?
I found one by David Allan Coe.
Or play that. Maybe it was David Allan Coe. Listen to the song. So
yeah.
This guy tells me the same thing, and I said, tell me about Robbin' Banks. I had lunch with him. We had cardboard. They put this, it's like a chow line. And I said, so tell me about Robbin' Banks. He said, he looked at me and he said, you take everything in your life, sex, fast cars, music. He went down a list of things.
Yeah.
He said, roll it all into one, and that's how I feel when I walk into a bank.
God.
He was a bank robber, and this was the song. I'd have loved Robbin' Banks.
Huh.
See? He goes, I love Robbin' Banks. Robbin' Banks. And that was the hit at the time.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that the best? Love Robbin' Banks. Tell the feller thanks. Robbin' Banks.
Now, did this guy actually like the song? Or
Loved
did he?
it.
Oh, he knew the song.
It. They could hear us.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
KLAK was right on Hamden, and but Robbin' Banks, and I was always like,
I love Robbin'.
oh yeah, I just love Robbin' Banks. Johnny Paycheck. Bob and I emceed Johnny Paycheck, and then I was on my chopper in Daytona, and out in the middle of nowhere, they would cut away and they'd make these arenas to go. You could buy tickets, and it said one night only. David Allan Coe, and I forget who the other one was, and it was one of those, you think you can survive the concert, but it was one and only David Allen Coe.
Think of how many people you've emceed. Think about that.
Man,
Think about it.
Well, Bob and I.
You've had some names that you dropped I couldn't believe, and you did wrestling.
Oh yeah, wrestling was the most fun I ever had. We did wrestling. I was telling somebody this story the other night. Well, we did, and I wish I'd have known it. Although he didn't talk to us, Jerry Lee Lewis, and he was playing a place called Bob's 4444, and he had come out with a hit called Middle Age Crazy. See if you can find that.
Yeah.
And trying to still prove he still can. And we were doing country music, and
you remember at one time John Stossel was interviewing a wrestler,
dropped him,
and he said to the wrestler, "But isn't this all fake?"
Boom.
He body slammed him.
No, he smacked him.
Oh, I thought he body slammed him.
No, he smacked him across the
and said,
his
"Is
ear.
that fake?" He said, "That's what we do every night."
Oh, that's what he did. Yeah, and no, he smacked him across the face twice.
Whoa.
And it kind of ended his career, but but most people think he was sent in to do that. It's debatable. But we had Jerry Lee, and what I didn't know,
Was he crazy?
out of his mind, he was alcoholic and an addict. But a book came out after Elvis died, and apparently, the day that Elvis died, or the day before, he called Jerry Lee, and they all lived in Memphis, and he said, "Come over, I'd like to talk to you. I want to see you." And Jerry Lee, instead of doing that, he goes out and gets blitzed, and he finally shows up late at night at the gates of Memphis, the gates of Graceland, and he's got a gun, and he never gets to talk to Elvis. And so, according to the book, he was like on his sixth wife or whatever he was on, and they had a farm in Tennessee, and they were out and they were eating acid, and they were in a rainstorm, and he sees Elvis in the rainstorm. It's a true Jerry Lee story, and so Bob's 44 was a pretty cool place, and remember, big hair and those suits.
Yeah.
And so me and the old man, and he had a killer band. And we're on the stage, and Bob could do this stuff. I wasn't really good at it then, but Bob was. And Bob's going, "Hey, we all grew up on Jerry Lee. We remember Great Balls." And and I'm just going along with it. And he doesn't come out. They had a little dressing room down to the left side of the stage.
What was wrong with him? Was he
cooked.
drunk?
He's cooked. And so
man.
Finally, the door opens and the light comes on. And you know what pen lights are, those little lights?
Yeah.
And there's two big gorillas, and they got them on both shoulders. They got them by the elbows, and they're walking them.
Oh, man.
And they're putting the lights down to show him where to put his feet.
God.
And he's just on helping him make that noise. And I can't tell you what he said, but he said...
Did he perform?
Killed it.
God almighty.
Killed it.
Think of how many people have been on drugs and alcohol and
played,
made their career.
Or did radio.
Yeah.
But he went out. He went, dun, 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 you take my love, and I'm going. And
just automatic.
And at the end, see if you can find Middle Age Crazy. And at the end of the night, and he'd tinkle with the keys playing Middle Age Crazy because he had a hit with it. And then he finally played Middle Age Crazy, trying to still prove he still can, which is kind of a theme song for us. But and he did it, and then he played. I think he played a whole lot of shaking. Tore the house down. Gets up.
Could hardly walk.
Tom didn't talk. Didn't say thank you. Go to hell. And they walked him off. And he had a road manager. And I went down and on the door, and it was real dark. People were leaving, and they had double knit suits, big hair.
Yeah.
And I said, "I'd like to meet Jerry Lee." And he said he didn't talk. And I said, "I wanted just to talk to him." He said he doesn't do it. I said, "I just wanted to shake his." He said, "He didn't do it." He wouldn't shake. He wouldn't talk. Wouldn't do anything.
You know, being the way we touch a lot of these people, we're in touch and we're close to a lot of. It reminds me of the movie Almost Famous. Remember that?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so but what always disappointed me is when you love someone and you meet them and they're real a-holes.
Tom.
You know, that bothered me. That I hated meeting them, and they
Yes.
turn out to be jerks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've had it happen 100 times.
I know
and so
it.
have
I
you.
know it more than not.
Yeah, you go, man.
And
yeah.
then you meet some people that are the nicest people in the frickin' world
Who was the best?
that I met.
Yeah.
Oh man. God, I'm trying to think now. I have met some that'll actually sit down next to you. You think, wait a minute, this guy wants to be my friend. They're just so nice. I'm trying to think of some of them. And you know, Barry Fay, I met a lot
There
through
you go.
Barry.
Through Barry, we all did.
Right, because you'd go to his parties.
And they'd be there.
Oh my God, there were people there that I didn't even realize they were in Denver, let alone at his house.
I've told people, he'd be in the kitchen cooking. He'd be cooking.
Yeah, and he knew them all.
No, everybody.
And he never really talked about all the people.
No.
And but what I didn't understand is he'd have a party for one guy, like he was having a party for Mick Jagger one time.
Yep.
And Mick Jagger was in town and the Rolling
Oh,
Stones.
yeah.
But then there were other people that were just as famous there that were not scheduled to be anywhere. So you know they flew in just to be at Barry's house.
Oh, yeah. He would, the famous story of, they played football in his backyard. Leonard Skinner played football back there. And,
Yeah.
the Allman Brothers played football back there. He's got great stories. or had
one
great
of the
stories.
one of the best stories was about he couldn't figure out why he would book these rappers, and they would always
I
drive.
told you that story.
They would always drive to the venue. And he said, "You got all this money in the world. What are you doing driving to?" And it was because of their weapons.
Yeah, they couldn't bring guns.
They couldn't bring all the weapons they
couldn't-
wanted. They were armed to the teeth.
Couldn't bring guns on the planes. No, I was with him when that happened.
Whoa, it's
No,
amazing.
No, he was.
He was a legend, and
There was another one
in his own
yeah,
way.
and,
I
and
mean-
we knew him, and he just took care of us.
I know, but Barry he was never happy, was he? I mean, I hate talking about him, but because he's not here, but he was never happy, Peter. He was just never happy.
His wedding, Joe Williams and I talk about. He got married on the stage of Red Rocks.
Mm-hmm. And he made Red Rocks, for God's
Wait,
sakes.
He had eight groomsmen, and I was one, and Joe was one.
God,
And it looked like a bunch of penguins standing up there. No, he was my story is I get to meet Norman Mailer, and and he came to the radio station
That's
where
right.
you and I were working, and he was with like his sixth wife, and she was laid out in diamonds and turquoise, and I literally, I can say I read probably everything Mailer wrote. I read Armies of the Night. I read Naked and the Dead. I read, The Deer Park. I read, Fire and the Moon. I was just a huge Mailer fan. And it was his last book, and it was entitled Harlot's Ghost, and it was about the CIA. So he comes in, and he's going to do 15 minutes, and then he realizes, I know him. I know his work. Tommy, he stayed for 2.5 hours.
God.
I'm sitting with Norman Mailer. We're going over the books. I mean, Naked and the Dead alone.
I met Mailer was with Jimmy Breslin.
Jimmy Breslin. And
they were friends. And
they
Jimmy
were-
Breslin was a columnist for the New York Daily News.
And he was the one, I met him later because he was contacted by the son of Sam.
Oh, and you asked who was the nicest. One of the nicest people in the world, Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad was great.
One of the nicest people in the whole
And
world.
big. I couldn't believe how big he was.
And you thought you were his best friend.
Oh, it was wonderful.
God, he had a way about him.
Joe Williams has great Muhammad stories.
And
a
Howard Cosell was a nice guy.
So with Mailer, and we're talking after two, and I'm going, Peter, you're from Allegheny River, you're talking to Mailer, so it's over. So he stands up, and he was close. He was gone within a year, and he turned around to me. He said, "Did you like the book?" And I'm thinking, you're asking me,
Right.
And I said, "You've done better."
Wow.
Well,
He also wanted to know, did you really read it?
Well, and
Because a lot of people,
I read his book. I was
yeah,
Norman Mailer.
for sure.
And he turned around. He walked to the door, and he had this young wife with him, And he turned back around and he said, "Thanks." And
That's
it
amazing.
was Norman Mailer. I mean, that was so. To me, it was like I walked on the clouds all the way home because Norman Mailer cared about what I thought about Norman Mailer.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, and another nice person, Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter was great.
I mean, here's a president, and you're just brushing with him. You don't, but he was he looked at you and he took your hand with both hands, and you would think, holy crap.
He didn't know. We worked with his brother. Me and Bob worked with his brother Jimmy, and he didn't understand alcoholism. And of course, I'm sober, and we ended up talking. I mean, we'll turn around and come back. Martino and Boyles. Hang on, everyone. 710 KNUS. could do this for about 3 hours more. It is a Saturday, everyone, and we got about 15 minutes left, and we got stories. And I want to tell everybody, ski resorts are experiencing better ski and snow conditions. Perfect time to consider taking your skis and snowboards in for a tune and getting things better, getting new gear for Christmas and ski season. I'm going to try this year, man. I had to lay out last year because of some health stuff, and I'm going back this year. And whether you're looking to rent or buy equipment, I go with Gary, we're fine. Larson's got you covered. The convenience of Larson's is unbeatable. Top, and again, perfect place on your way up or down the mountain. You find them, large mountain and large wooden building, pardon me, on the way to the mountains. You're I-70 westbound, get off on Kipling, head south, and you see them. John Marriott, his son Jack, and everybody, Paul. Larson's absolute experts at everything you need for winter sports. Stop in today and tell them I sent you. 7 days a week, Larson Ski and Sport, south of I-70 on Kipling, 303-423-0654, 303-423-0654. Tom Martino, Peter Boyles. This ain't going to get any better. We're talking about getting in fights.
Yeah, no, I never got in a fight when I was on the job, never. But you did. I remember.
Oh,
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, we got in a fight in the lobby of the Fairmont.
What was that guy's shtick? Now he was
Dean
a
Reed.
communist rock star,
He
right?
was, he was raised in like Lakewood, Arvada.
No, really?
Yeah, and then
Wait a minute. Then he moved away?
He moved over and he worked. He was inside the Soviet Union. He was the communist John Denver.
Yeah, he was big. I did not realize he was
Handsome.
American.
Guy was handsome. Oh yeah, he was a U.S. guy, and he had been down with the Sandinistas, entertaining the Sandinistas, and I'd gained my sobriety, but I had been at Allenberg's first trial, the RICO trial, and he came on the show. Me and Mary Kay Morrow, MK, and he was big, way bigger than me.
He said something to piss you off.
Put his arm around me, and I said, "Man, what are you down there?" And he said, "Well, you sound like those people that are on trial." And I threw his arm off me, and we were up. He was big, and I'm no badass.
Big but a chicken.
I said, "I got to hit him. I got to hit him because he's getting this big." I said, "We'll catch him now."
So you hit him?
No, I never got one off.
Oh, you did?
No, he ran.
That's right.
He ran
away.
Limo. They had a limo outside, a bunch of communists in a limo.
Yeah.
But he had this great big manager. But the payoff on the story was Dale Evans was there. And
the Roy Rogers fame.
Roy and Dale. And she raised money. She was raising money for a Christian boys ranch.
Yeah.
And that she was a part of. And she was sitting in the big plush chairs with a bunch of, they're probably younger than I am now, elderly ladies. And there was like 3 or 4 of them. And MK came around the table because she was raised in this really tough Italian family. And she had older brothers. She wasn't going to back away from a fight. She'd come in flying into the fight. And they ran. And I'm looking at MK and I'm going like, damn, they ran on us.
Yeah.
And together we looked like the number 10. You know, they're not going for us. And I was so embarrassed because there was Dale Evans.
Yeah.
And I went over to her, and the television people were showing up, and the cops came, you know, and everything. And so I knelt down next to her, and I said, "Miss Evans," I said, "I apologize." And she looked at me. She said, "Roy would have been proud of you." True. I mean, it was like the highlight. You know, I'm going,
my God.
I was going to beef this big guy. And then they wrote a book about him called Comrade Rockstar. He was murdered. He was murdered on the eastern side of the.
He was murdered by a communist, you think?
It was
you
never
think like
solved.
A hit?
But they found him in a lake, but there was no water in his lungs. He was on 60 Minutes with Morley Safer, and there was a story that.
Now, why did 60 Minutes do him?
He was who he was.
An anomaly.
Yeah. And then there was a story, I don't know if it was true or not, that somebody optioned his life, and they were going to do a movie about him. And then I was going to be in the movie about being this really bad capitalist that was going to take a poke at him. And I didn't. I mean, I was more afraid of him than he was big. I mean, he was real big, but I thought.
And did he still have family in Denver or Colorado?
He had a wife that looked like, she looked like not Sapphira.
But a star.
Bridget Bardot. Oh, yeah, she was killer. She wasn't there. But this big guy was with him. The big guy was the guy I was thinking out of the corner of my eye, if he hooks around, we're in big trouble.
Yeah.
And they ran. They ran right through the lobby of the Fairmont, and they hit a limo. And I'm thinking, what kind of commies are you guys riding in limos?
Yeah.
And they jumped in the limo, and then they took off, and then there was a big story, and I didn't know it that it got written up in Pravda, because he was a star.
Big star there,
Big
right?
big star. And then I was written up as this real bad person. And
We tried to take him on.
I didn't weigh 160 pounds, and I'm like a little bitty Irishman, but that guy was big, and that was one of our fights. We got a bunch of fights. We were always in fights, But back in radio, people fought. And they went outside and fought. I watched 4 or 5. I was in a couple, but let's go. But it was Dean Reed, and he and we hooked. He didn't. No, I shouldn't say that. I pushed his arm off. I mean, that's as much as it was. But he ran, and Mary Kay and I, she was a tough little girl, and she hooked. I remember seeing her out of the corner of my eye coming around that table, and they were from the Morrows, that Carr family.
Yeah.
All the Italian guys.
Yeah.
Oh, she had some tough brothers.
I wonder what is she doing now?
You know what? I don't know. She married a guy and had a couple kids, and one of those stories. But
Yeah.
they were the Morrow family. Roger Morrow, Chryslerville.
Yeah, exactly.
Somehow they were connected to all of them. And she was a tough little North Denver kid. She was prime. We knew him, buddy.
A lot of people.
Best time you ever had in the business. This is a good one, by the way.
The best time I ever had?
Yeah.
It would be when I was first starting out. I just had hanging out with Custy Amato.
Oh, man.
I was assigned to do a feature on him.
Ah.
And he was for those who don't know,
He was Muhammad's guy.
I mean, Mohammed's mentor, not his official manager, and Bernie Pacheco's mentor, and all of those guys. And then what happened was I was assigned to do a little newspaper, nothing big, but because he was living in our town, they said, there's this real famous guy, Custy Amato, living here, and Floyd Patterson.
That's Floyd's guy.
And the other middle, the
light heavy, the Puerto Rican.
Middleweight.
Puerto
Yeah,
Rican
exactly.
Guy. Yeah, I can't think of his name.
But anyway, so
Ben Venete was but I'll shut up.
So anyway, he was living in those days, and it's really weird, but his brother died, and the tradition was to go and take care of the sister-in-law and the kids.
Okay.
So he moved to Athens, New York, and lived with Camille, his sister-in-law. They weren't married or romantic. He was there to take care of the family. It was his family obligation. So while he was there, he was grooming this young guy.
Mike Tyson.
Exactly. And we were at the Catskill Boxing Club.
Sure.
And he had some other boxers there that weren't that bad at all. And Kevin Rooney.
Another one.
Kevin Rooney. So anyway, I was assigned, and here's what he told me. He says, what do you want to? He was telling me how he trains boxers, and about 10% of it was physical. And what he did, he freaking lectured them. And I thought, wait a minute, you're a boxing coach. You're very famous. Everybody considers you a mentor, and that's where I met Norman Mailer. Was at his house, but he said.
Mailer liked to fight. He was a fighter.
That's right. He was a fight fan.
Yeah.
And I met Howard Cosell there at some of his parties in Athens, New York. So, but what he did was, Custy Amato said 90% of fighting and 90% of anything is all mental. You got to have the right attitude. He says, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I'd like to be in, because I was for a newspaper, I'd like to be in TV and radio. He says, okay. Here's what he said. You come out to the camp and train with the boxers, I swear to God. And I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm going to give you the mind of a winner. He did. And I went out and I was part of that, but I was not a boxer. It was weird, huh?
You gave me a great radio show, Bubba.
Yeah.
Thank you. Tom Martino. I'll see.